Hey, welcome to Weld.com, home of TIG Time. Hi, I'm Mr. TIG, and we're on site here in my hometown, Utah Springs, Kansas, and we're testing a couple of machines, and they're not new to us, but as far as going through and actually identifying some of the functions and how the machine works, I want to share that with you. So this model right here happens to be an Everlast 210 EXT, and it's digital. And people ask me a lot about 210 amp, 225 amp machines and whether to air cool them or water cool them. Well, first of all, let me show you how you unpack this machine and what you get with the machine. So then you can make your improvements accordingly. And it's no secret, I'm very critical on the Chinese accessories. So you're going to see some good, some bad, and some ugly. So let's get started and let's take a look at part of the accessory package that comes with this machine. And you'll notice it's got a pretty decent ground clamp. Actually, I'm kind of impressed with that. So it's kind of a thumbs up, kudo. Getting in the stick welding mode, you know, I use this maybe 1% of the time. So this looks like it's a pretty heavy duty stick electrode holder. So again, that's a plus. This right here is the argon line. Goes from the gas bottle to the regulator or to the machine. And it's a fiber woven reinforced. Again, that's a good feature. This is an adapter. You can run this machine off of 110 or 220, so you can plug it into the adapter. Again, another good feature. Now we're going to get close and near to my heart. This is the foot pedal, and I think you've seen on some of my other shows that I usually take the foot pedal and I toss it. Well, this pedal has been improved. It's not great, but it's definitely improved. But one of the things I noticed in assembly, and you know, this is an import, this is Chinese, is they get going so fast that, I mean, this is actually as I unpacked it. So you're going to have to be very careful and put this back in place. And these things are spring loaded. So I'm not sure that they're given the time over in China to be able to do this. So I'm gonna work at it, and while we're on break, I'm gonna go ahead and get it back in position. But it works pretty decent. Again, it's not great, but it's okay. So I mean, I wouldn't throw it away. One of the things that have been proved over the years is we used to have liters per minute on everything. Well now, and this is an acceptable regulator. And it's got the flow meter on it here, and it shows in CFH, so that's a plus. Now we get to the TIG Torch. I can't even test this machine and tell you how good it is or how bad it is with this TIG Torch. So you can imagine that this is going to go bye-bye. I'm going to put my own TIG Torch on it. So let's talk about what TIG Torch you would put with a 210 amp machine. Well, what you would put with that, I don't recommend my 9F as much as I love the little 9 Torch. This is a tweener machine, and when I say that, anything over 200 amps, I recommend water cooled, period, because you're going to overamp your torch. So with that said, I would purchase this machine and put on our standard 17 torch, 17 air cooled. Because there's only going to be 2 jumps. You're going to have the 17, and this one's only a 150 amp torch, and once you go beyond this and you're constantly overheating it, you're going to go water cooled. And water cool, you're going to add probably another $700. So just know that. This is just kind of an odd size. So anyway, I recommend the 17, standard 17F, which is a flex head. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to test this machine in this portion of it. We're going to break it into 2 segments. I was looking at the specs on this machine, and they're pretty impressive. But I'm not sure that I've ever been able to actually determine that it's perfect. But you know, this machine is identifying as being able to go down to 5 amps or light off on 5 amps on AC. So I'm going to go ahead and set this machine up, and I'm going to test the low end of it. And then I'll give you my results. So I'm going to go around to the front, and then I'm going to go through the panel with you and go through my setup. So join me in a few seconds. Okay, now let's take a look at the front panel, and it's a little bit confusing, and almost all digital machines are because you only have so much space to work within. But overall, this one is not bad. You can go through it intuitively and figure things out. So I like to take these boxes right here, break it into boxes, and then look at the white button right there. That's a function button. And this has to do with memory. And I don't know why engineers do this, but in TIG welding, very seldom do you ever use memory because you've got a foot control. The welder likes to set up his own machine, so memory is just it's an add-on. Now, this box right here, this is your primary function in knowing how you've got the machine set up. So right now, it's showing me that I've got 80 amps available to me. And so I move over here, and I'm going to do aluminum welding, so this AC waveform, you'll notice that there's advanced, there's a soft square wave, triangular wave. I'm going to go to a soft square wave, just for grins. Now there's a little insignia here that shows a TIG Torch 2T, which means I've got the foot pedal, and if you'll notice those two red lights are on, there's a little foot pedal right there. And I'm not going to run any pulsing whatsoever on this test. So now let's go over and let's do this scroll, okay? So right now, if you push this green button, you see an arrow where it says select, and you can watch this red light move, okay? Every time I move it, there's a function, okay? So let's go all the way to the start, all the way over here, and it says pre-flow. I don't want any pre-flow. I absolutely don't want any. I'm gonna control my pre-flow with my post-flow. I'm going to be able to tap my foot pedal. So here's the welding amps. I'm going to weld at 80 amps max. Push it again, tells me AC balance. Now this is kind of a good function. It says clean. So it means that I'm going to set this on 50% cleaning. Well, I don't want 50% cleaning. What I want is about, somewhere around 30% cleaning. So it'll be a 70-30 balance, okay? Okay, and then it says frequency. Well, right now it's set on 50 hertz. I don't want 50 hertz. Let's see, what do I want? I want about 120 hertz. Okay, downslope. Nope, I've got a foot control, so I don't need any downslope time. So what's left? Ending amps. 5 amps. I'll be able to taper down with my foot control down to 5 amps. Okay, and that's all there is to it. So I'm going to go ahead and go around here and set up and do a demo. And I'm going to do an edge weld on aluminum rather than just do a bead on plate. And I may do that too, just to play with this machine. So let me get set up here, get my gear on, and I'll join you in a few minutes. Okay, I've got a couple of aluminum samples. It's only 16 gauge material, but one of the best ways to test a welding machine is to do an edge weld instead of a flat weld. Now, I've got both of them set up. I've got a nice little edge weld set up here. I'm using my Easy Wipe to get rid of all the surface oils or anything, any contaminants. Anyway, it's got isopropyl alcohol on it, so very common for all materials. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and run a bead on plate or a bead on edge right here. This material is fairly clean, but when you get on an edge, edges typically have sharp edges and oxides and things like that. So I'm getting pretty good cleaning action, and you can see it and you can hear it. Oops. Okay, well, in the arc initiation of this, I wasn't terribly pleased with it, but I got to tell you, sometimes it's the foot pedal. And so I gave it a second try, and it started. The stability was okay. Stability was not great, but it was okay. And a lot of that has to do, again, with my ability to ramp up and down the amperage that I'm looking for on here. But overall, you can see that it welded nice. It's got good cleaning action. You can hear the hertz. You can see the arc is choked off very nicely. And in many cases, if you look at this, it has a little bit too much cleaning. So I could actually probably gear this down a few steps. Instead of having 70% penetration, 30% cleaning, maybe 27% cleaning. Anyway, you can see that it does the job. And again, take a look at whether or not you're going to go water-cooled with this or air-cooled. And if you go the air-cooled, definitely take a look at this setup. So thank you for watching TIG Time. I'm Mr. TIG.